So now we're going to continue on with angles, but those angles are going to be formed because of parallel lines and a transversal. It's going to be one transversal. We're not going to do too much with two transversals. Anyway, so in the picture below, lines X and Y are parallel, and line T is a transversal. Okay, or a line. So a transversal is a line that intersects them. A transversal is just a line that intersects other lines. Use a protractor to measure each of the 8 angles that were formed. Okay, so let's talk about a protractor for a second. This is a protractor. Sometime when I'm in class with you, I'll make up a sheet of angles and we can just practice how to measure with a protractor. So I'm just going to show you with the protractor right now, and I'll measure for you. So first off, if I have an angle, okay, this would be called the vertex. I know we have a vertex in quadratics too and parabolas, but this is also the vertex of the angle. So just to let you know, that's your vertex of an angle. And this spot right there, see that spot right there? That's where you're going to put your vertex. Now you'll notice that the protractor goes 0 to 180 this way, and it goes 0 to 180 this way. So you always want to look to see if it's an acute or obtuse angle first, and then kind of know, hey, it can't be, whatever. So this is an acute angle. So I'm measuring this way, so I know that it's going to be less than 90, so I'm going to use this inside number. So I put my vertex right there, and if you remember how to do these and you're going, oh my gosh, we're not 2, I apologize, I just want to make sure we know. Now, measuring with the protractor is not totally exact, but you can at least come close. So we know this is 10, 20, looks like about, 27? Yep, so we would say this was a 27-degree angle. Okay, does that look right? Yep, 27 degrees. Okay, so that's how you measure with the protractor. Okay, so moving on. With the protractor, we're going to measure some angles. So here we go. Now, if I measure that angle, oh, that's a nice one. Look, it goes right along that line. That's a 60-degree angle. Now, we just learned that if it's on a straight angle, which this is, a line is, so if that's 60, this is 120. Okay? We also learned that vertical angles are congruent, or equal in measure, so this is 60, and this is 120. Okay? Now, this is where the theorem we're going to be using today. Measure this angle right down here. And look at that. That's 60 degrees. So that's 60 degrees. Guess what this is? Yep. And this. And this. Right. Okay, so label all those. We're going to use that information. Again, we'll practice with the protractor some other time. What do we note about it? The angle measures. List which angles have the same measure. So obviously angle A has the same measure as angle C, which has the same measure of angle E, which has the same measure of angle H. Those all have the same measure. Then angle B, angle D, angle F, and angle G. Okay, so those all have the same measure. So just to let you know, okay, pay attention to that. And once we figure out one, we can figure out the other 3 here. Once we figure out one, we can figure out the other 3 there. So we figured out one with the protractor, and then use supplementary, or straight angles, and vertical angles. Label the inside of the parallel lines above interior. So this is the interior, okay? This is the interior right through here. This is the exterior. There's a point to all of this, okay? So those are the exterior. Several special pairs of angles are created when parallel lines are cut by a transversal. Use the picture above and the table below to help you define and describe these types of angle pairs. So the first one are vertical angles. We know vertical angles. We did that in the last lesson. So pairs of vertical angles formed by intersecting lines. And some of this stuff in the table is useful, and some is like, what the heck does this mean? So examples of vertical angles. Angle B and angle D. Angle B and angle D. Well, also angle A and angle C, and angle G and angle F, and angle E and angle H. So there's a whole bunch. Like, how many do we count? 1, 2, 3, 4 pairs of vertical angles. What's a relationship? Now, when we talk about relationship, I think it's talking about transversals. So it's just on opposite sides of the transversal. I'm not completely sure what this part is. Transversal. Versal. Okay. Straight angle. Straight angles. Angles that form a straight line and add up to 180 degrees. Also called a line. Oh, or maybe they're talking about that those are supplementary. I'm not sure what they're asking for there. So maybe they're talking about also called supplementary? No, because sometimes you have 3 or 4 or 5 angles. So we're going to just leave it like that. I don't know what they're asking for. Doesn't matter. And this, your examples of that are line X and line Y. We can't name them right now, so I'm not sure. We don't have enough points to name them, so we're going to just skip that. Alternate interior angles. Angles inside, so on the interior of the parallel lines, and on opposite sides of the transversal. So we could say opposite sides or alternate sides. So that's where we get that name alternate. So on alternate sides of the transversal. So we could also call it's opposite sides but all alternate sides, okay? So let's look at this. Alternate interior. Interior and on opposite sides. So angle D and angle F. Angle D and angle F. Those are alternate interior angles, okay? The other pair is angle C and angle E. Those are alternate interior. Okay? Now, notice these. Look at C and E. Those are alternate interior angles. Notice their measures. These, alternate interior angles. Notice their measure. That's going to always be true. Alternate interior angles, I don't know if this is what but those are going to be what we say congruent. And remember, congruent means they're equal in measure. Okay, congruent or equal in measure. Now we have alternate exterior. Angles outside on the exterior of the parallel lines and on opposite sides of the transversal. So they're opposite sides and they're external. So remember this, we could have, instead of opposite, we could have said alternate. So let's look up at our angles and see what those are. Alternate exteriors. So exteriors have to be out here and they have to be on opposite sides of the transversal. So A and H are alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles. So angle A and angle H. Angle B and angle G. They're outside of the parallel line and they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So angle B and angle G. Now look at their measures. Angle A and angle H, 120. Angle B and angle G, 60. Okay, so these are also congruent. So they're equal in measure. Okay, now we have corresponding angles in the same relative position. That's the important part. And I don't know what angles in blank blank. I still haven't figured that out, so maybe you guys will figure it out. There's your challenge. What are they talking about? So let me show you corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are going to be on the same side of the transversal. Oops, you can't see what I'm writing. Of the transversal. But they're going to be, how do I say that? I can tell you what they are. So angle A and angle E are corresponding angles, meaning they're in the same position, but they're just on the other line. Okay, so they're on the same side of the transversal, but they're on the other parallel line. Okay, so angle A and angle E are corresponding angles. So they're on the same side and in the same position. In same position. So if I could cut right here and I'd slide it, they would match up. So corresponding angles, I don't know what this quote is, but they match up. Okay, so I don't know what the quote is. I'm not quoting anything. I don't know what they're called. but I know that they match up, so I'm going to say they match up. How about if I spell right? So match up. Angles that match up. They're in the same position. So which ones are corresponding? Angle A and angle E. Everyone has a corresponding angle in this. Angle A and angle E. Angle D matches up with angle G. Okay, do you see what I'm doing there? Angle B matches up with F. Angle C matches up with H. So there are 4 pairs. Now what do we know about them? Well, look at those corresponding angles. They're equal. D and G are corresponding angles. Look at their measures. Exactly. So these are also all congruent. Okay? Now there's one other pair they don't have in this table that I want to talk about that's very common. And these are called same side interior. Oh. Okay, now I just realized what I should have said with corresponding. They're on the same side. Look at A and A. They're on the same side, but one is interior and one is exterior. Okay, same. So corresponding angles. Okay, erase that. Corresponding angles are on the same side of the transversal, but they are, one is interior and one is exterior. Okay, so corresponding angles, they're on the same side of the transversal, so on the same side of the transversal, but one of them is an interior, one is an exterior. Okay, look at angle D and angle G. Interior, exterior. So they're unique compared to everything else. The other kind is same side interior, same side exterior would be the same thing. Okay? And what those angles are is angles inside the parallel lines and on the same side. See how clever we are in mathematics? We name things so cool. Same side interior are exactly what we're talking about. They're on the inside of the parallel lines and they're on the same side of the transversal. Okay, so an example of those. C and F. Angle C and angle F. And the other one is angle D and angle E. Okay, now look at those. Look at D and E. If I add those together, what do I get? I get 180 degrees. These are going to be supplementary. Okay? So those are going to be supplementary. So they add to 180. Now, along with same side interior, look at this. We have same side exterior. So, look at this. Same side supplementary. With corresponding, it's same side, but that's it. They're interior and exterior. So same side, interior, supplementary. So then same side, exterior. Okay, you get the point, right? Same side, exterior. They're going to be on the same side of they're on the exterior, outside of the parallel lines, but they're on the same side. Okay, so those are the different kind of angles that you're going to come across with these. Use what you know about parallel lines and transversals to label each of the missing angles in the picture below. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to label it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Those are the angle numbers. I'll put degree symbols on what they are. So if this is angle 1 is 75, what's angle 2? Angle 4. Well, those are vertical angles. So that's 75 degrees. Let's go to a different color. So those are 75 degrees. Well, there's an interior, and here is an interior. So that, or I can go, these are corresponding. Angle 1 and angle 5, they're on the same side of the transversal, and they're in the same position. Those are all 75. Okay? Now, if I go to angle 2, it has to be supplementary to this one because it's on a straight angle. So if that's 75, this is 105. Okay? That corresponds to angle 6, so that's 105. Angle 2 and angle 3 are vertical, so that's 105. Angle 6 and angle 7, or I can go corresponding here, or I can go alternate exterior angles, so this is 105. Okay? Notice that when parallel lines are cut by a transversal, any two pairs of angles formed will either be congruent or supplementary. And we just saw that in the table we were looking at. Okay? Line R is parallel to S. Angle 2 is 55 degrees. So, before you go over and answer their question, you mark up this entire thing. Okay? If that's 55, oh shoot, I have to subtract now. Hold on. If that's 55, then we know this one is 125. And then you just start marking all the angles. Okay? So if that's 55, this is 55. This is 55. This is 55. Okay? And these are vertical. These are corresponding. Okay? So those are all 125s. And by marking our picture, we will answer whatever question they ask. Find the measure of angle 3. Angle 3 is 55 degrees. Now, how do we know that? Well, because look at 2 and 3. What's their relationship? Those are vertical angles. Okay? Find the measure of angle 7. Angle 7 is 55 degrees. How do we know that? Well, if we're going off angle 2, which is what they gave us, angle 2 and angle 7 are alternate exterior angles. Alternate exterior angles. Okay, good. Now, let's look at this one. The measure of angle 5 is 102. Okay, so that's 102. What's angle 4? Yep, 102. What's angle 3? Let's do this one. Same side, interior, or supplementary. Listen to all those words. Same side, interior, supplementary. So take 180 minus 102, and we get 78. So this is 78. Now we can see everything from that. These are vertical. These are supplementary. This is corresponding. See how this angle 5 and angle 1, those are supplementary. Okay? So then I can just go, hey, that's 78. This is an alternate interior angle, so that's 78. Angle 1 and angle 7 are same side exterior, so that's 78, or corresponding. Angle 8 is vertical as 5, so that's 102. So they have lots of ways to see it. Angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding, so that's 78. Okay? Find the measure of angle 4. Angle 4 is 102. How do I know that angle 4 is 102? Based off of angle 5? Because they are alternate interior angles. Okay? Angle 1. Angle 1 based off of angle 5. What's their relationship? Well, angle 1 is 102 degrees. And what are angle 1 and angle 5 to each other? See how they're on the same side, but one's interior and one's exterior. That means they correspond. So corresponding angles. And I'm going to go back up and write out what these words are, because they're still new to you. Alternate, I'm shortening them, and I shouldn't yet. Alternate interior, and these are alternate exterior. Alternate. Okay? Good. So now we have more questions. Using the pictures from 3 and 4, so we're using this one right here, to mark the following statements as true or false. If a statement is false, explain why to the right of the statement. Okay? So angle 2, and angle 8. Are they corresponding? Well, no. That one's false. They're not corresponding because they're not the same measure, for one. They're not in the same position. Okay? Not the same position. Also, we can say, because these are same side, let's see, 2 and 8 are same side exterior. These are same side exterior. So they can't be corresponding. Angle 3 and angle 5 are congruent angles. Angle 3 and angle 5, congruent angles? False. Why? Because these are same side interior. Same side interior are supplementary, not congruent. Okay? Angle 1 and angle 6, no, angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate interior. Well, duh, they're on the exterior, so that one's false. These are exterior angles. They happen to be alternate exterior, so those would be congruent. Angle 5 and angle 8 are vertical angles. Woohoo! We finally got a true. So those are vertical angles. Yay! Angle 1 and angle 7 are supplementary angles. Oh, that's supposed to say 78, not 75. Those are supplementary angles. This one is true. And why is that one true? Because those are same side exterior. Those are same side exterior angles. Okay? Good. So now, these next couple questions that we have right here, these are review from what you already know. I will tell you that on number 3, I would draw a picture when it talks about the measures of the angles are supplementary. Think about that, 180. So you might want to come over here and draw, oh, I have a 6x plus 16. And I have a 2x. Okay? So, go through and draw a picture and come up with those. That's just review of what you did before. 4 and 5, what you did before. 6 and 7, okay? Now, number 8 talks about using parallel lines. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go and write in there what we know. We know that angle 6 is 2x. We know that angle 1 is x minus 15. Okay, now, do we have enough information to find x? Because it says find all the missing angle measures. So what we're going to do is we're going to find x somehow. We're going to figure out what those angles are. We're going to find x. Then we're going to plug it in to these two angles, 6 and 1. Once we find 6 and 1, we can find all the other angles. So look at angle 6 and angle 1. They are on the same side. So here's your transversal. They're on the same side, okay? And one is exterior and the other's exterior. So what did I just mention? I mentioned same side exterior. So if I have same side exterior, and just kind of look at them too, they can either be congruent or supplementary. What do you think? Yep, they're going to be supplementary. So the first thing you're going to do is write an equation and solve that. Okay, so here we go. Solve that equation. So hopefully you got x is equal to 65 too. So if that is 65, then what does 2x equal? We'll take 2 times 65, and we're going to get 130. So this angle is 130 degrees. Okay, and if that's 130, this one has to be 50. Okay, and it would be, because 65 minus 15. Now we go through and we mark all the other angles with what we know from what we know about our angles. So if that's 50, this is 50. And this angle 3 and angle 7 are alternate interior, so this is 50. And this is a vertical angle, so that's 50. And we know that they all have to be either congruent or supplementary, but let's look at this. This is a corresponding angle. Angle 6 and angle 8 are corresponding, so we know that this is 130. Also, we know that it's supplementary with that one. Now, 8 and 2 are vertical, so these are 130. Okay? And I can go with angle 2 and angle 4 being corresponding, so this is 130. So lots of ways you can come up with it, okay? So we just found all the missing angles. Good. Now, if you haven't figured out by now, we're going to do some notes, you're going to do some angles, you're going to do some problems. We're going to count it all as, here's a packet. We do it all. Yay! Okay? The sum of the measures of A, B, and C equal 90. A and B are equal. Draw a picture of that. Do that one. That would be good for you to do all by yourself. Okay, so finish up those pages. That sounds like that would be some good work as far as an assignment. So just finish up those pages, and we'll come back and do some more notes in a little bit. So hopefully you did number 1 and 2, and you found out that x was 6. Now once you find x is 6, plug it in. So I plugged it into this easier one right here. I plugged it into 8x plus 2, and I came up with 50. Now, remember, these angles are supplementary, so yeah, I could plug 6 back in here, but couldn't I also just take 180 minus 50 and get 130? That's what I did over here. I came up with x being 5. If x is 5, I did the easy one. 47 minus 5 is 42, and then I'm going to just take 90 minus 42, and I'm going to get 48. Okay, So sometimes you're going to plug in for x, and sometimes you're going to use your knowledge of that's a 90-degree angle, or this is 180 degrees. So use that information. Number 3, I came up with x being 20, measure of angle Q was 139.2. Let me explain this again. This means measure, and that's when you use equal signs. If I say angle Q, and I don't have an M out in front of it, if there's no M, then I have to use a congruent sign. I can't say they're actually equal. Okay, I'm getting picky again. That's a geometry thing, but anyway. Okay, number 4, these are supplementary angles. I found out that x was equal to 12.4, and if I'm wrong, ask me in class. And so I got that this angle was 99.2, so therefore this angle is 80.8. And on 5, they're vertical angles, so I found out that x was equal to, what was x? 7. So therefore, my angles are 42. Okay? So I just want to get you an idea of how they are. Make sure that you know how to set up the equations for it, and I know you know how to solve equations, so I'm not going to go over that. Okay, that's enough for today, or at least for now. And I might have you start the next video just because I'm not going to have you do a lot of homework, but I need you to understand the concepts. And you want to understand the concepts, so next year in geometry it's easier. Great, thank you very much. I hope this helped.